In Dungeons & Dragons, not all classes are created equal. Clerics and rogues stand at the top of the tier list in terms of sheer combat potential, while rangers and monks are laughed at down in the ditch of mediocrity where they belong. One class that I personally like to stick in the garbage with the ranger and the monk is the bard. The jack of all trades, master of none is a fine archetype, and the bard can certainly fill whatever niche your party is lacking in a pinch. But without a special thing to call its own, it ends up being inferior to basically anything else you can bring to the table. Certain subclasses help. College of Eloquence comes to mind as a surefire way to get people to trust you more, but most of the Bard's subclasses just make them worse versions of other classes that do their job better. College of Valor is just a worse paladin, College of Swords is just a worse fighter, College of Whispers is just a worse rogue. You get the idea. But today I'd like to bring up two broken bard builds that really convey the class's creative capabilities. Whether you want to have control over an army of mindlessly obedient sycophants, or the power to warp reality to your whims, there's a bard for your busted needs, and you better believe it's Unbalanced. Our first build today is brought to us by Electroterra, big channel over 1 million subs, who sent in their idea for a Bard Ranger multiclass based around the College of Glamour. Thanks, Electroterra! And if anybody else wants to submit an idea, leave a comment, and if it's unique, creative, and unbalanced, I'll make a video about it. Electroterra's build is pretty easy to comprehend. Start out by taking 6 levels of Bard, choosing the College of Glamour subclass, then pivot into 3 levels of Ranger, picking Fey Wanderer at 3rd level. Glamour Bards get a feature at 3rd level that lets them charm a number of people equal to your Charisma modifier if you perform for them for 1 minute. At 6th level, this is supplemented with a free command spell every round as a bonus action that anyone who's charmed by you auto-fails. Sure, it only lasts for a minute, but for that minute, you are undeniable. Add to that the Ranger levels, the most important part here being that Fey Wanderers can add their Wisdom modifier to any Charisma check. If you learned a lot of Charisma skills and took Expertise at 3rd level, that's 4 from your Proficiency bonus, plus 4 for Expertise, plus probably about 3 each from Charisma and Wisdom, and you could feasibly have plus 14 to your Talking to People skills of choice. Now, granted, there are better social builds. The aforementioned College of Eloquence lets you treat any roll lower than an 8 as an 8 for Deception and Persuasion, for instance, and the Rogue gets similar features by 11th level. But that's not really what we're here for. No, see, we're here for 4 more levels in Fey Wanderer that'll give us their 7th level class feature, Beguiling Twist. With the twist, whenever somebody succeeds a saving throw to end your charm on them, you can use your reaction to make somebody else within 120 feet make that saving throw too. If they fail, they become charmed instead, letting you spread charm like it's the coronavirus at a Republican rally. But if your goal is to maximize your social skills, finish off this build with 4 more levels in Bard to get the 10th level Expertise. Get Expertise in every social skill. That plus a 20 in your Charisma and Wisdom will give you a total bonus of 22. Imagine lying with a bonus of 22.
My God! Did you kill that man? No.
By this point, after only a minute of performing in front of 5 people, you can mind control all 5 of them and make them do anything you want, so long as you only speak in 1-word commands. But if you have a more complicated job for them, an automatic success to any bluff, deception, intimidation, or persuasion check can't hurt either. If you go Eloquence or just Rogue instead of Glamour, the minimum you can roll on relevant Charisma checks is a 30. Pair that with different means of controlling the roll of the die, spells like Silvery Barbs and Enhance Ability, or feats like Lucky, and you basically can't fail. But maybe you don't want to have magic mind control powers. All the glamour in the world won't stop a rampaging Tarrasque from destroying the city. Maybe you're looking for something a little more godly. As one of the greatest thinkers of our time once said, "To tear down and destroy is of no consequence or quality. To create is divine." Who said that, you ask? I believe it was Descartes, or possibly Nietzsche, or... Okay, fine, it was Albedo from Ben 10 Omniverse, but he was in his ultimate Galvan form at the time, which made him the most intelligent being in the galaxy, so he literally was... Oh, forget it. You uncultured plebeians have no appreciation for philosophy. The point is, the act of creation is one of the most miraculous abilities one can possess. The power to literally manifest something from nothing is so unique, versatile, and special that it is typically limited only to the most powerful of fictional beings. Gods. Yeah, that's right, all gods are fictional. You heard it here first, folks. God is dead and Psychoboy killed him. Well, I guess some settings have alchemists who can do that sort of thing too. But at what cost? But D&D is a game where fiction becomes reality. D&D doesn't care if God isn't real. There's dozens of them in the game. And D&D also doesn't care about Lavoisier's law of conservation of matter. D&D is a game where you can play as a character who can make literally anything you can think of. That's right, we're talking about the College of Creation. I subtly hinted at a video about this subclass in the first Unbalanced video, so I figured I'd dedicate the back half of this video to the subject. When you pick this subclass at 3rd level, the Bard gains the ability to create anything with just an action. With some restrictions. You can only make something worth a number of gold pieces up to 20 times your Bard level, and you can only do it once per day, unless you want to spend a level 2 spell slot to use it again. Oh yeah, it also has to be medium or smaller, and it can't be magic. You can't have more than one item at a time, and it disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus, which at 3rd level is 2. Did I say some restrictions? I meant a lot. A lot of freaking restrictions. Almost as many as my Tinder profile. That's fine though. Even at only 3rd level, you can make anything worth up to 60 gold pieces once per day, and that covers a lot of ground. Everything on the weapons list in the player's handbook is fair game, as is every tool and almost everything in the adventuring gear section, including acid, alchemist's fire, and holy water. RIP if you want a spyglass, I guess, but let's be real, nobody in the history of Dungeons & Dragons has ever used a spyglass. And if you say you did, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Unicorn. I've got some horn polish I've been meaning to unload. Why not step into this van and come check it out? That's not even mentioning all the other things you could create with this feature. You can probably feasibly justify almost any mundane object short of a suit of plate armor. Need a dummy to toss around and trigger some traps? A big hunk of raw meat to tame a wild animal? What about a parachute, because you're falling down a deep pit and the stupid wizard didn't prepare Featherfall again, even though this exact situation happened just last week? Sorry, didn't mean to get personal there. My point is, the possibilities are literally limitless. And that's just at 3rd level. At higher levels, you can start conjuring up the components needed to cast powerful spells. Did you know Identify requires a pearl worth 100 gold pieces? I sure didn't until I read about it while researching for this video. And Chromatic Orb needs a diamond worth 50 gold. My party's sorcerer spams that spell like it's the dodge roll in Dark Souls. I didn't realize he was emptying his retirement fund every time he used it.
It costs $400,000 to fire this weapon for 12 seconds.
At the really high levels, you can start to break the game at the fundamental level. 6th level creation bards can make large items, and 14th level bards can make huge items with no limit on value, and can even make multiple items at once. Make a catapult and load it up with gallons of alchemist's fire for ammo. Make all the parts needed for the wizard simulacrum. Make enough diamonds to res your whole team after a TPK. Make a giant golden monument to your penis, I don't care! The world is your oyster. Now, granted, you probably won't get to 14th level. As discussed in the first episode, most campaigns usually peter out around level 10 or so. So, how about we take a look at 10th level? You can make items worth up to 200 gold pieces. So, what's a spell that requires a material component worth 200 gold pieces or less that you'd want to cast every day to... Yeah, that's right! This was secretly just an excuse to revisit the coffee lock. All those idiots in the comments section going, Warforged don't need to sleep, just play one of those, or play an elf, you'll get 4 extra short rests every day, can suck my nuts! Warforged may not need to sleep, but they still need to long rest just like elves, so you need a creation bard in your party if you're gonna make a true coffee lock! Sorry. I guess that's been kind of festering for a while now. Let's get back to the bards. Today we introduced 2, maybe technically 3 builds. The Glamour Pandemic, the Diplomancer, and the Baby God. Whoops, wrong baby. There we go. Baby God. With these 3 builds to consider, I might have to revise my earlier statement. Bards clearly have enough going on with them to justify bumping them up on the tier list. What? They're not that good. I'm not gonna put them in S tier just because 3 of their 8 subclasses are halfway decent. If you want to say something, you can say it to my face, Joe-Cat. Face it, these particular bards are a cut above the rest, and they're completely unparalleled in social situations. But even a bard with godlike potential is only as good as his player's creativity, and when the cards are down and combat is unavoidable, they just can't quite hack it. It being a dragon's testicles. Sorry to get your hopes up, but nothing in this video is actually unbalanced.